afternoon, everyone. We're just waiting for a few more people to join here. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining this webinar discussing our Soundmaster Dyno Test Cells. My name is Jason Kardell. I'm the Western Regional Sales Manager and Test Cell Product Manager for Noise Barriers. I have over 21 years experience in dynamometer sales and test cells design, and I appreciate this opportunity to share my experience with you. First off, let's learn a little bit about Soundmaster. Soundmaster Dyno Test Cells is a pre-engineered modular system specifically designed for building a sound-controlled, high-performance motorcycle, engine, or vehicle test cell. It's specifically designed to work with dynamometers and other test equipment to provide in excess of 40 dB of sound reduction with guaranteed performance. For our agenda today, we'll learn why is Soundmaster Dyno Test Cell? Why is it designed for equipment and airflow? We'll discuss the engine test cells, chassis test cells, and finish with motorcycle test cells. First off, why Soundmaster? Soundmaster Test Cell is more than just a box. A test cell should be designed with hearing and respiratory safety in mind. We include silence ventilation and high STC value walls, doors, and windows to accomplish that. Custom is our standard. This sets us apart from other providers that really approach it as a cookie-cutter approach. The Soundmaster Test Cell considers your testing needs, your building constraints, not just a cookie-cutter approach like I mentioned. Average horsepower levels are a critical thing to consider while we're designing that test cell. And we also want to look at steady state testing or endurance testing if that's in your future. Very few host buildings are designed with a dyno test cell in mind. You need to get air in and out of the test cell. We arrange the silenced ventilation system layout to meet your building design. The modular panel systems, doors, windows, and ventilation systems are acoustically matched to fit your particular requirements. Materials are also tested in a NAVLAP accredited acoustical lab. Noise Barriers can provide a custom engineered solution. We can design, supply, and install your test cell. We're looking at a drawing of a typical test cell, and it shows the fan in an enclosure, which I think is a very critical point that Noise Barriers or Soundmaster makes with our test cells. That really reduces a lot of the impact noise that you're going to see in your shop. The two silencer banks, both on the air inlet and exhaust air, help condition the noise that may leave the test cell or enter the test cell coming from external locations. Of course, we have a number of window and door options that are available. Our Soundmaster typical material supply are the panels, the joiners that connect the panels, doors, windows, structural steel frame if needed, and that does not only support the roof or any materials that you may need to store or locate on the roof. We can supply the silenced ventilation system, a UL certified pre-wired system in the wall, and many additional options and features. Why is the test cell designed for equipment and airflow? Well, there's a lot of different considerations that go into that. Why can't all test cells be the same? Well, there's no two buildings that are the same. There's no two people that are the same. So we really have to take into a lot of account how we're going to design that. It's a focused design around your dyno, your facility, and your particular needs. Cells designed with your test equipment, engine, electric motor, or other needs in mind. Airflow specific to your testing. And that's because of, in any endurance testing, power pulls, diesel applications, alcohol engines, which are a special consideration, or electric motors. What does it mean when we say custom design to fit your facility? Well, the airflow CFM should be at least 5 to 10 times the volume of your cell, depending on your fuel type and horsepower. The cell should be large enough to make it easy for technicians to move safely around the test specimen, but not too large as it will drive the ventilation costs. Fans are typically included in an integrated exhaust plan. Why do we recommend field wiring? In a lot of cases, requirements vary greatly from user to user. It's best practice to hire a local electrician to provide your electrical system and ensure your code and compliance. Why Noise Barriers recommends the use of a variable speed drive and its advantages. This allows you to vary the fan performance for any given condition. Say if you're simply filling a fuel tank, or if you're doing high load extreme endurance testing, you may want to have the fan at different speeds for those. It's all about the airflow. Why is airflow important to an engine? We have a nice cross section of a cylinder head at the top. And we have to realize that an engine is a self-driven air pump. The quality of the air going in dramatically affects the power. Dyno testing is all about repeatability. Not only does the engine have to repeat well, but your dynamometer and test cell are contributing factors also. We're trying to make the test cell the true constant in your testing. What other factors affect power? Of course, there's always temperature, humidity, and atmospherics. Combustion air systems, which will try to normalize the air that's going into the engine. And temperature-controlled environments. In most user test cells, these are pretty cost prohibitive. This is a great video that I captured off our guys at Engine Power as they were pulling an engine out of the junkyard. They decided to stick it on the dyno in our test cell that we recently provided for them, replacing another manufacturer because it had airflow issues. So this test cell design really kind of takes in their facility. If you notice, as Pat and Mike here start the engine, they forget one critical thing in the test cell. They forget the fan. This is a great example, as he turns this on here, how uniform the airflow gets pulled or extracted out of the test cell. So as we watch, the entire column of air very uniformly is pulled out of the test cell, and you notice how far back the headers are actually bleeding exhaust air in and how clean the airflow is still in the test cell. Also look at the carburetor and how clean the airflow is over the carburetor. That's a critical item. So let's talk about the engine test cells. We have some different typical sizes. In a lot of cases in our diesel environments, we'll see a 20 by 30 by 14, maybe 12 high test cell. These are some twin test cells down in Houston, Texas for generator testing. They have a very unique sliding door on them, which is a bi-parting door system, still reaching that high STC 51 value. The upper right corner is a Kubota facility in Illinois. It's got twin 12 by 16 by 9 test cells with a center control room located right in the center. At the lower point, we have triple test cells at Marshall Engines in Kearney, Nebraska. It's a very unique set of test cells. This is their R&D department, where the first two are basically for R&Ding engines and fuel systems. The third test cell at the far end has longer exhaust air silencers and inlet air silencers. It's also a semi-NVH test cell, where we have a thicker panel and higher absorption and higher sound STC rating. In our engine test cells, we'll typically do a hard surface wall which would be a non-perforated hard interior wall and a hard exterior wall panel. These have higher STC values. They're very easy to clean. They're impact resistant. And to augment that, we also provide a sound absorptive ceiling, and we're trying to reduce the reflected noise in the test cell while still maintaining its noise properties. We have high STC doors in these. And we have other options like bullet-resistant windows and many other panel options, such as the semi-NVH cell. Chassis test cells. Chassis test cells are really different for vehicle direction. We have either an air inlet or an air exhaust point that would need to change based on if it's a back-in or drive-in test cell. The pod dynos have different considerations altogether. They're typically needing to be wider test cells. They have different airflow considerations because of that width and possibly height for that cell. We have large doors that are possible. So really, if it's just a simple vehicle door, an 8x8, we can even go up to a 10x20, 20x20 door if necessary. We have observation windows for customers and personnel that can be added to any of the test cells. Man access doors at different locations or varying points for safety conditions. And the size and shape really does matter and how it affects the airflow. At the top right, we have a great video that was done by the guys at Real Street Performance, one of our recent customers. And it shows the assembly of the test cell. I'll walk you through that real quickly. This is also available on our website if you needed to revisit this. All of our materials are going to show up, and before we do any construction, you have the opportunity to design, redesign, and approve your drawings. Materials show up in a very well-created system. Materials are also pre-cut, so that speeds your installation. Doing a quick inventory of the materials, drilling for any floor anchors that are necessary. And now he's going to start erecting the structural steel that I mentioned and panels. They're simple Tek screw connections, and the H-joiners are the components that go between each of the panels, as I mentioned, the joiners at the beginning. We're assembling the back wall. And now they start assembling the roof. You can see that the structural steel is an integral part as it's picking up the load points from the panels covering the roof. That was a great shot of the perforated panel as it gets inserted. Now they're starting to install the fan plenum. We enclose the fans to minimize the noise and the impact noise that your shop space is seeing. So as they're enclosing this, they'll make a connection to and through the host building after the silencers are installed. And that really completes a lot of the installation and how the airflow is exhausted out of your facility. The silencers at the front of the test cells, in this case, are directly drawn from the shop environment. But since we're able to provide that 40 dB of noise reduction, the shop environment is still dramatically not affected, or not dramatically affected by the noise coming from the vehicle under test. The bottom test cell is DSX tuning. It's a recent test cell that was just installed in May here. And as I started putting together this webinar, I wanted to reach out and speak with them about, their feelings on the test cell. The Dave Stack at DSX Tuning sent me this great caption. The room is weird. My Corvette is louder than sin, but even inside the room with it, it's tolerable. Outside the building, if a car is making a pull, it sounds like the car is a mile away. We are super happy with it, especially with the ventilation system. And you see in this case, it is a pod dyno, It is a very wide test cell because of the horsepower rating on the pods. We have the exhaust air extraction at the rear corners of the test cell inside, and it is providing about 54,000 CFM of airflow. Let's chat about our motorcycle test cells. The ventilation system in the Soundmaster motorcycle test cell is very unique. It eliminates the need for exhaust hoses in your test cell, which also frees up the rear corners of the test cell. The fans are enclosed, and it's designed for best airflow over the bike and rider. So if we look at the Harley-Davidson test cell at the top, you can see through the window the air inlet point that is coming through in a dedicated air inlet plenum. And then the silver silencers are located at the top of that. So this is an acoustically silenced plenum that delivers the air directly at the front of the motorcycle and dynamometer, and really provides a phenomenal path for the airflow to flow past both, and then out the top location at the rear over the doors. That's the enclosed fan plenum. So we have a high pressure drop 42-inch fan in there. It's moving about 24,000 CFM in this small enclosure, but trying to draw through the test cell. Provides that silence ventilation, again, so it's not impacting your shop. The Ducati Seattle picture at the bottom is a great example of, customer going to that nth degree, wrapping the test cell. It's got some great customer viewing windows in it. So that's just an example of what you can do at your facility. And the Wilkins Harley-Davidson has a unique condition where they needed to have airflow at a side point and exit out a rear side. So we're able to accommodate that and locate the fan in the plenum box outside the building. So what makes Soundmaster different from standard construction? First off, the project is designed and submittal drawings are done by Soundmaster. Faster construction turnaround when compared to standard construction, which minimize the coordination between trades. It's a clean installation. As you've seen in the Real Street video, there's little disruption to your facility. It's a modular panel system, so it installs very quickly. It's easily portable and relocatable. The noise control is typically 40 dBA or greater of noise reduction. This noise isolated fans, again, reduces the impact to your shop and your workers. Sound controlled doors and windows can be made any size and any configuration. The silence ventilation actually makes you a better neighbor. I've had instances where we've had Harley facilities next door from residential, and they never knew they had a dynamometer. Test containment in case you have those unfortunate points where engines fail. So the components, we can help make your conventional test cell even better. We have noise controlled doors that can be augmented in both the bipart sliding doors to simple man doors or specialty doors with hatch considerations if you have an overhead crane. Windows for bullet resistant windows for operators, or if you just need vision windows for special projects or unique client situations. Standalone ventilation systems. Again, as I mentioned on the Harley facility, this would be an example of something that would sit outside your building and provide that airflow through your test cell still. And sound absorption, where we are trying to minimize the impact noise inside the test cell, which in our standard package we're already doing, but if you build your own test cell, that may not have been an original consideration. So what you're getting with this Soundmaster Cell. First off, it's true lab-tested sound-controlled doors, windows, and panels. Silence ventilation, properly sized for the fan. And we can vary the fan size, and we're an OEM as a fan distributor and can basically provide the fans cheaper than what you can get them for. They're high performance, high pressure drop fans. All of our materials are pre-cut. They're ready for installation. A conventional test cell with similar material costs more than modular construction. And that's meaning the doors, windows, and panels, and the ventilation systems, which are typically the most forgotten part of a self-built test cell. The higher initial cost of a modular cell is easily offset when you consider the portability, taxes, and resellability of the cell. The acoustically designed materials typically perform better as a system than conventional construction. Let's close with a simple summary. Noise Barriers offers improved safety, not only hearing, but airflow and personnel protection. Turnkey capabilities of the design, the materials and supply, and installation services. We can also PE stamp our materials if necessary for those locations in California or seismic areas. The test cells are designed to meet your specific need. It's guaranteed acoustic performance, guaranteed airflow performance, enhanced testing accuracy and repeatability. There's tax advantages. The materials are classified by the IRS as equipment, so you can benefit from accelerated depreciation and investment tax credits. You can review this with your accountant. Pre-cut materials help aid fast and very safe method of installation of the test cells. There's optional durable powder paint finish, depending on the size, and any standard RAL color or custom match colors are also available at an additional cost. They're easy to reconfigure or move. It's simply adding panels or relocating the panels. It's the longest warranty in the industry, with 5 years for materials. Any additional information, you can reach out to marketing@noisebarriers.com. Any questions about the Soundmaster test cells? If you just want to receive some sample specifications, drawings, or budget pricing. If you need any information on Noise Barriers products, or if you want to hear from a sales representative to assist you. We sure thank you for participating in our webinar this afternoon. That's all I have for now, and I wish you the best. Have a great day.